TIFU by looking disgusted when my elementary school bully caught me in his video selfie, by user Dull Energy 7918. I went to visit my hometown to hang out with some old friends during a Super Bowl party. A lot of kids from when I was in school were there, including my bully from elementary school. He used to bully the shit out me. My parents used to say it was his way of showing he liked me. But the bruises he left me taught me otherwise. So I did my best to avoid him at the party, even when he tried to chat me up. The fuck up. I was with my friends. We were just chatting and laughing about what we've been doing with our lives. Out of the corner of my eye, I turned and saw my bully taking a video selfie. Instinctively, I stopped smiling, cringed, and turned away from him. I really did not like that guy. When the party was over, and I was heading home, I got a text with my friend with a Facebook link. It was a video of my bully slowly panning across the party smiling gleefully. When he caught my attention and I gave him a disgusted look before turning away, his smile vanished, the screen flashed gray, slowed down, and depressing music played. The comments are just as you expect. It was mostly people telling him to keep his crown up and that I'm a bitch, etc. etc. It was pretty humiliating. I reported the video to Facebook. But it's still up, and keeps growing in views and comments. TLDR, childhood bully caught me in his video selfie. I stopped smiling, cringed, then looked away. Now I'm in a sad posting like video. TIFU telling my ex's wife that he cheated on me. 20 years later, by user Mastiff. I was going to post this on Ida but I really don't think I am, and even if I was I don't care. Through a strange twist of fate I was at a wedding this weekend with my ex-BF, Buzz FN, and his wife, Polly FN. For context, we dated 20 years ago. I was 21 when we broke up and he was 26. We dated for 2 years. I was very close to his family during this time, but after the very sudden breakup, left without an explanation. This was before the era of social media. Hell, I think I might have had a Nokia I occasionally used when I remembered to buy minutes. So we couldn't instantly get in touch with people, nor did we know WTF was going on in everyone's lives. At the wedding, I see him and his entire family. I didn't realize that my friend was marrying into the family, different names, and really didn't talk to the groom much. It was a shock to everyone. I expected awkwardness at the reception, but his family was being cool to me, which was strange, but whatever. I'm not one to force myself onto someone if I'm not wanted, important for later. Eventually, Polly is trashed and pulls me aside. She wants to thank me for leaving Buzz alone after our breakup. I'm thrown by the strange comment, but drunk people say strange things. I say, yeah. No problem. She continues to say, he was heartbroken when you cheated, but I convinced him you were just a whore and to get over you. I laughed and said, what are you talking about? He cheated on me because I chose studying for a final instead of going out and getting drunk. I left the reception without another word to anyone on his side of the family. I went over and kissed my friend goodbye, citing a migraine which I am prone to get. No drama. Now family members who got my cell number from our mutual friend or found me on FB are messaging me like crazy. Rewind 20 years ago, when learned about the cheating the very next day from his BFF who hated me. I called Buzz for the truth and he said, I'm coming home now. We'll talk in a few. Don't do anything stupid. That told me all I needed to know. So I got my few items I kept at his place and left before he got there. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to force myself if I'm not wanted. Buzz didn't want me, otherwise he wouldn't have done that, so why bother with waiting for the fucking excuses? 4 months later I refused to answer calls. When he came to my dorm, he was immediately denied admission and escorted out as I had him put on a no-visitor list. He wasn't a student. Apparently for these last 20 years, his family that loved me was told that I was a cheating whore, and his BFF who masterminded the whole cheating setup, seconded Buzz's story. Now, everyone is pissed at him for hurting me and lying to them for 20 years. They're trying to full story, but I just keep saying it's 20 years ago. It doesn't matter anymore. I'm good and Buzz is good. Some family has apologized for icing me out at the wedding and spreading the rumors. Polly though is freaking out. She's convinced that because he cheated on me, he'll cheat on her and keeps calling me for more info. Our last conversation I said that I was blocking her and have. She tried to call me from an app though a few times, but I'm just not picking up numbers I don't know at this point. Dr. saw an ex-boyfriend at a wedding and spilled the beans he cheated on me. Family is angry with him. 20 years later. Edit. attempting to recall a conversation I had over 20 years ago where I was shaking and about to vomit all the while attempting to sound confident. It was like, "Me, Buzz. Just tell me the truth, did you cheat on me when you went out with BFF?" Buzz, sigh asterisk, and we all know what that sigh is, it's resignation in a last-ditch attempt to get your thoughts in order. It was the sigh that told me everything I needed to know. Crazy Mastiff, I'm going to leave work now and we'll talk when I get home. Don't do anything stupid, I'll be right there. I love you. It is possible that Polly is who he cheated on me with. I don't know. I wish them the best though. They've been together for at least 18 years. Buzz was not under the impression I ever cheated. I'd imagine that Buzz had to tell his family something since I disappeared so suddenly. I think he just tried to save face and his BFF was there to back up the lie. I do not know the full story of that conversation or who it was told to. I have no idea what happened to BFF. Again, over 20 years ago. I'm more WTF than I am upset. I'm sad that his father who I was close to died believing that I did that, but other than that, I don't really care. Edit 2, okay. You guys are putting forth some excellent questions that I'm not sure about. I unblocked Polly and reached out through text. I said that I'm sorry for blocking her, but 20 years ago, I was broken and it hurts to relieve that no matter how healed we are. I didn't appreciate being cornered at an already horribly awkward situation and called that, but I can call her after work later. Edit 3, I posted an update in another post because I am a dinosaur and don't know how make links in Reddit, and I didn't know if there's a character limit. I am old. Rar. TIFU telling my ex's wife that he cheated on me. 20 years later, update by user Crazy Mastiff. I've never updated before so I hope I did this right. So, I called Polly a little bit over an hour ago and it's very anticlimactic. I talked to Polly and she wanted to know dates that he was still chasing me. I told her what I could recall and it seems that there was a few months gap between them meeting and his last attempt. I assured her that never once since social media became a thing, did Buzz try to reach out to me. She said that about 6 to 7 years ago, she found out that Buzz had tried to find me on FB by stalking some of my old friends he knew, which added to her paranoia. They went to marriage counseling and all that. Polly was exceptionally talkative. Apparently, Buzz was a mess. Went deep into alcohol and even screwed around with heroin introduced to him by none other than BFF, who OD'd a few years after all this went down. Polly hated and was hated by BFF, and when he tried to come between Polly and Buzz a bit into their relationship, Buzz saw BFF was a massive awe and went NC. She said that she didn't mean to accost me at the wedding, but she's always been insecure about me. She was drunk and those first years of insecurity all came back to her. She said I was prettier than her, saw pics that he had stashed away or in family photo albums, while she always felt deformed because of a repaired cleft palate. She is very pretty and I reassured her. She said that the family was in disbelief over my very sudden abandonment and a few times shortly into their relationship his family would slip and call her my name, or she'd hear them reminiscing about a family vacation I was on with them, or how good a few dishes I made were. She also said that Buzz did confirm that he cheated, followed by a bunch of excuses. I said that I really didn't care to hear what he told her. I did say that I wish him no ill will and I'm truly glad that he settled down and found happiness, but I'm done with this. I don't want to reconnect with any family members, I don't want her calling to commiserate with his wrongdoings. I just want to return to our very separate lives. She did ask how I found the strength to just leave like that. I told her that I had an amazing role model, mother, strong support system of family and friends, we had no shared resources to divide, and I have a low tolerance for bullshit. Polly was quiet and said thank you. We then hung up. Of course now I'm wondering if she's thinking Buzz is cheating on her and that's why she asked me about strength. I blocked her again so I'll never know. I do wish her all the best, but I'm going to return to my apathetic life. Thank you for your support as well as some of your crazy comments, at least they gave me a giggle. I hope that every person knows their worth and has strength to do what they know has to be done. TL, Dr. Talk to Polly. He cheated. But not while he was dating her. He might be cheating on her now though and I can't care less. Oh, and BFF OD'd years ago. Edit, typo. TIFU reading my friend's journal and I can't see her the same way, by user tatumfanatic. There's no easy way to say this. I, 23M, was at my friend's, 27F, house working on a project together. We've been good friends for around a year and a half and go to graduate school together. I always felt that there was a spark between us. We went out together for a few weeks unofficially when we first met, but she then pretended like she wasn't into me after she met another dude while we were out together. I know we had something. Once she met him and they hit it off, she grew distant and then when asked denied ever being interested, but I knew she just decided to go after someone better. She was inviting me over to her place, cooking dinner with me, dancing with me, hanging out one-on-one, being super physical and flirty. I know it when I see it. I decided to move on since she was going after another dude, so I pursued other people, but we stayed good friends. After I moved on, she continued to be relentlessly flirty and touchy, but I looked past the confusing behavior and just enjoyed the friendship. We work really well together, and I've been able to help with a lot of her projects in the past. Anyways, so I was at her house this week working on a project in the living room. She goes to the restroom and I notice a brown journal on the coffee table that says Gals Burn bookmarked with a heart. She lives with 3 other women. I think the fact that it was out in the open means it was a collective project. She went to the restroom for a few minutes and I couldn't resist taking a peek inside. It was right out in the open, so close to me, and the heart made me curious about what was in it. I know it is shitty of me to look at the journal, I can't excuse it. What I saw inside took me by shock. In it were dozens of names of nearly all the men in our program, mix of graduate and undergraduate students. They were grouped into factions: prey faction, big dummy faction, predator faction, and villain, among other categories. My name was listed under prey faction like this: first name last name, executed. Immediately after my name was the name of another guy I know. First name last name, successor. I was stunned. I've been racking my brains trying to figure out what this means. Of course I can't ask her about it because I was in the wrong for peeking. But maybe it makes sense of my confusing experience with her when we met. She has a catalog of dozens of men. I was one of her prey to execute somebody she could lead on but not take seriously. The prey faction was all Christian guys, the big dummy faction was jock-type dudes, and the predator faction was mostly guys who would be considered alpha, very confident and assertive. I know most of the people on the list and understand the rationale behind many of the groupings. I'm not sure what to make of this. I feel embarrassed to be categorized with the prey, as though I'm just one of dozens of weak and friendly men. I also think it's strange that she and her friends are doing this kind of thing in their late 20s. You'd think this would be outgrown in middle school. Am I wrong to feel sort of dehumanized by being on the list as somebody she executed? It's pretty brutal. I feel shitty for looking through the journal. Just because it's on the coffee table doesn't mean I have the right to look. But for the life of me, her feelings toward me never made a whit of sense and I wanted answers. TLDR, I looked through my friend's journal of men and discovered I was prey. Makes me question our friendship and if it was ever real. Edit, I want to clear up some misconceptions about this. TIFU by calling the judge Your Highness instead of Your Honor, by user Banana Envious. I work as a youth behavioral health case manager. A lot of the youth I work with are high risk and many have legal involvement. So, as a part of my job I will occasionally go to juvenile court and give a report of the youth's progress. Today was one of those days. My youth was the last case to be called, so we had been sitting there for almost 4 hours waiting. It had been a long day and I was admittedly a little sleepy. My supervisor was also there to observe because it was a high-level case. When the judge called me to give my report I said Your Highness instead of Your Honor. What's worse is that I couldn't stop laughing and had to excuse myself. I came back and apologized and the judge was visibly annoyed. The youth thought it was hilarious. My supervisor didn't mention anything about it afterwards, but I'm sure that on Monday our whole team will get an email reviewing court etiquette. TLDR, I work in youth case management and accidentally called the judge Your Highness instead of Your Honor before giving my report.